And welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Steve. I'm here with two special guests today. It's gonna be awesome chat. You got Bairnt. How's it going, Bairnt?
It's going great, Steve. It's awesome chat time. I like that. That's a good name for when you got the trifecta of power here. We call it awesome.
That's
chat.
right.
Trifecta of power. Wow.
That's right. The three big wigs right here. I love it. It's good. It's good. I'm doing. By the way, I'm doing great, Steve. Thanks for asking.
So yes, we got Bairnt here, and we got extra special guest, Canje.
Hey everybody, how's it going? How's it going?
So if you guys aren't aware, for another streamer does awesome content, go check out Canje Studios. He's on our Discord all the time. We play games every once in a while. It's gonna be a fun chat today. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Thanks for having me on.
always, yeah, Marcel's like Canje.
Hey Marcel, what's going on? What's going on?
So I apologize, Snow. I know she said the comment 3 minds for more knowledge. I think you must be talking about somebody else, not these three people here. So, and yes, Baron has too much coffee. It seems. Yeah, he's always.
Yep, already. I'm on my third cup. No, I'm kidding. This is my first cup of coffee.
Hey, I had mine as well. So
it's so a funny thing though. Like apparently, Baron's the only one on One Stop that drinks coffee. So
that is correct. It is absolutely amazing because when we talked about making merch. One of the things was, oh, we do coffee mugs. Like that's great. Everybody can have coffee in their coffee mug. What kind of coffee do you guys drink? And like crickets. And finally, like Colin's like, I don't drink coffee, and everybody else like, I don't drink coffee either. I'm like, how does a tax consultant and a teacher not drink coffee? What is going on?
Yeah, Marcel's asking, what do I drink? I'm a pretty boring drinker, honestly. If you see me on streams, I normally have a carbonated water near me. I drink a lot of water and other stuff.
Drinks the buble.
The buble, yes, exactly.
Whatever, is that the name of that water?
It is. It's called buble. How bubbly it is. So, yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah. Terrence is here. He's like, I know some things about this game because we're going to talk about some LCGs for news today. So he's our LCG expert.
He is. This is
Nice,
true. Terrence
nice.
is pretty much the expert on a lot of things.
Yeah.
If you need to know something, Terrence usually knows about it. He's your expert on almost everything.
Yes. Cool. But yeah, if you're first time joining us, welcome. This is the co-op chat, so we do focus on cooperative stuff. It's focused around a discussion topic, and we normally cover some news before we get into the discussion topic. This week, we don't really have any Kickstarter news because there's not many Kickstarters happening right now, especially cooperative ones. So instead, I'm going to go back and look at some living card game news because we at One Stop love the cooperative living card games. So we'll talk about some news from that briefly and then get into a discussion topic, which we'll be talking about expansions that made us revisit a core game and basically buy into the system, buy into the game.
There's no cooperative like Kickstarters right now. Well, I mean, I guess 'tis the season to beat your friend up. I guess competitive games. That's what's going on.
Well, there's actually one going on right now.
Yeah.
Harikiri Blades of Honor,
yes.
which is one that they have going on. That's up now. That's making
somebody
some
might
buzz.
be all in on over here.
Not me. I mean, it's too rich for my blood. It's too rich.
That game looks awesome. I'm all in on that one. I'm excited.
Yeah, it looks really good. Mostly, I think there's two things that I look for: one, cost, and two, is it true soloable? And I think the solo mode of that thing is set as a bolt-on to the main game. So I was like, that's usually scary stuff.
That can be kind of scary. I'm going to take my chances.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think because we normally try to cover like what's coming this week for news or what was just recently announced. And
gotcha.
Last week we talked about Call of Killforth, which was supposed to launch last week, but is now launching this week, Tuesday. So
right,
you guys are looking for that one's coming out. But yeah, instead of covering that one again, I thought we'd do something a little bit different today. So yeah, let's talk about some LCG stuff. So there's a little game called Marvel Champions. If you follow the stream, you might know about it. Just maybe, because it happens all the time. Peter does an amazing job making content for that game. But there is a expansion coming out for this one, Sinister Motives. So this one is going to start venturing into the Spider-Verse stuff, so which is pretty cool. So we got Venom, Mysterio, What's the other? I know Sinister Six is in this one.
Yeah, Doc Ock,
Doc
Craven,
Ock. Yep.
Mysterio, Venom, and Electro, and
Yep.
one more.
Yeah. Well,
Sandman.
Sandman's in there too. Yeah, yeah. So I don't. Yeah, it looks awesome. Honestly, I was looking through some of the counters they're doing for this one with like how they're going to make Mysterio into the game, and Mysterio's such a fun character to design and like a game around, just because he's all very, you know, distractionary, like in cause.
Oh,
Like, actually, was you found him? There he is.
Unrevealed scenario says, "Hey, good morning, Jared."
Steve, we lost you for a second.
yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
But you're back. It's good to see you.
You're back. Yep, you're back.
You ended with Mysterio. I'm guessing you're talking about Mysterio and Marvel United.
Yes, which is great. They did a great job with him there too, as well. So
yes.
Yeah, I guess I'm lagging. Apparently, I apologize, guys. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I can take over for you, Steve, when you fall apart.
That's like all the time. Oh yes, I see what happened. There were some frames that got dropped, so hopefully it will be okay now in the future. So okay, I'll watch it. But yes, they're adding some awesome characters. I'm really excited for Mysterio in this one, and Venom looks like they did a really good job as well with implementing him. So this is looking really cool, honestly. One of the better, not that the expansions look bad at all, but this looks like one of the better expansions and one of the more excited coming out in recent times for this game.
This be one that is going to fit our theme of our chat here quite a bit. Who knows? This might be the one that pulled to Marvel Champions. I haven't fully been in it in a long time. I kind of did the base game, and that was kind of about it. And now we might be jumping back in. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm completely addicted and sold. So I have everything Marvel Champions. I think it's. I didn't think I would like it, and then I played it, and now I own everything. So.
Yeah, and this one's adding some cool character too for Spider-Man. So we're getting Gwen Stacy, or Ghost Spider, or Spider Gwen. Heard that term as well. She looks really fun with her very reactionary, which is fitting for someone who's a gymnast like that, right? So, and then we're also getting Miles Morales. So with his Venom blast. So excited to see that one. But cool, that's coming up. More Marvel Champions goodness.
Is there a release date from FFG, or do they usually do when it gets here? It gets here. Is that RMO?
They used to put dates out there, and I think it's more when it gets here, especially with the shipping nowadays. It's just so hard to estimate that stuff. So
they probably give you that generic like Q4.
Right.
Yeah. Right. It's like when the cable guy's coming out. You know, we'll be there between 8 and noon.
Sweet, I'll just take the day off and play games all day.
Yeah, Terrence mentions it's spring of 2022, so.
Okay. Well, that gives me a chance to play Titan Shadow, which I haven't played yet. So.
Cool. Let's jump to the next one real quick. We had other LCG news, and that is Lord of the Rings is getting standalone packs, pre-constructed decks, basically, which is really cool. I'm happy to see that how Marvel Champions has done really well with having, hey, buy this hero and you don't have to do anything. You just pop out of the box and start playing. And now they're going to do that for Lord of the Rings with some key decks. They're doing a Dwarf deck, an Elf deck, a Gondor deck, and a Rohan deck. And this looks really, really awesome.
Are they, now I'm guessing, since you have every card on the planet, does this come with new cards, or just kind of reprints all put together to kind of make, to get the decks for people that haven't played before, kind of building on their other stuff coming out, which is kind of like those like the sagas all coming together, whatever?
Yeah, no, this is all, there's no new cards in this at all. They're just repackaging them into a deck you can buy and just play. And they're doing it where it's already made up. You don't have to do anything to it. But they're also adding in extra cards that fit within the theme. So if you want to tweak it with just what's in there, you can totally do that as well.
Does this mean I could probably beat the 4 trolls in the first, what's that first cycle in Lord of the Rings? The
Shadows, so...
The one where you're chasing Gollum or something along. That seems to be like
Yes,
the whole site.
yes, Mirkwood.
Morwood, yes. And then you run into the 4 trolls and then you stop playing because you can't beat them no matter what you do. I
That was a
took
tricky
that
one.
game with me. I took it to Florida with me to play because my kids are like into swimming and things like that. So I was like, I'll swim for a little while. Then I can't swim for 6 hours like they can. So I was going to sit there at the table and kind of play some Lord of the Rings. So I played through like the first couple, like that cycle or whatever. And then I got to the troll one. And I think I got crushed like 6 or 7 times in a row. I was on Discord with Steve and I'm like, how do I beat these trolls? This is ridiculous. And it's like, oh, you got to build a good deck. I'm like, well, apparently I didn't build a good deck.
That was the equivalent of have you tried getting good?
Yeah, that's about it. Yes. Oh yeah, you can get by those trolls. You just got to buy these 9 other packs. Like, you got to buy this pack for this one card. No, it was pretty funny to hear Steve like, oh yeah, that's a really tough one. You might want to skip that one. I'm like, no, I'm going to play them all in order. Okay, good luck.
Well, I've never played this series at all.
What?
And so I've never touched it. So to get into it, I have pre-ordered the revised box.
Nice.
And so that will be my first foray into Lord of the Rings, the card game.
It's a good start.
It is my favorite living card game. I love it.
A lot of
It's
people
also his favorite game of all time.
It used to be.
Oh, it used to be. Marvel United beat him, I guess. No. U-Boat.
No. Spirit Island.
Oh yeah, that was your number 1. I put it at like number 16, and it's why I got number 2 on our list.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I see, as I looked at all the cycles, because I'm sure they followed the Arkham Horror path of Mythos packs and all the stuff that you have to get. I'm hoping that they're going to follow the new paradigm that they're doing with Arkham Horror in terms of releasing all the Mythos packs as one, like what they're doing with Dunwich Legacy. So I'm just going to kind of step through it that way. As they re-release the packs, I'll just pre-order them and build them up that way, because pack hunting is not fun.
Yeah, that's always a problem. Getting those, there's so many SKUs for these games too. I'm excited that they are adding boons and burdens into the upcoming revised versions of these cycles. And so what that means for Lord of the Rings is it's always been a narrative campaign, but not a campaign in that sense. Meaning that like as you play through each of the boxes, it ties into a cohesive story. It wasn't very good initially. It was kind of disjointed. It's hard to follow, but later on, it became a ongoing story where one cycle led into the other cycle too. So it became.
Okay, and Terrence is saying he recommends me starting with the Dark Mirkwood scenario pack.
Yes. And Marcel is pretty much awesome. He's sitting here going, pack hunting is not fun, but hunting in packs is.
Yeah. Yes.
Ooh, I think we blipped a little bit just now.
We did blip. Yeah. I just saw that. I don't know what to do with it, but I have to mess around with some settings, it looks like. Okay. But yeah, so I'm very, very excited for this. And
there's too much power here. We're too awesome. That's the problem. We're destroying the internet.
Breaking the internet. Oh, I think Steve's still. Yeah.
He's working. So that was, so we got living card game information. I'm excited for the Lord of the Rings stuff. Colin has all of it, so I never have to buy a card ever, which is kind of nice. And he and I have talked many times, and every time we talk about like what games we want to play, and that one always comes to the forefront. Now, doing this, I really want to do like the whole the saga expansions. And I really want to do that whole saga with them. I think it'd be a lot of fun. We just haven't had a chance to really jump into it yet, but it is something we really want to do, and I'm looking forward to doing it sometime. But just like everything else in this hobby, as soon as we talk about it, then like a week later, something else comes out, and we're like, "Wow, we got to play that!"
Look at that squirrel!
Exactly. So
exactly.
We're doing. We were thinking about maybe we're playing role player against. We're still working on. Actually, the problem is we got it. It's one of those things like in Star Wars. You got to stay on target. We're playing Descent. We got to get through Descent because Descent is awesome. We're still having a blast playing it. But every time a new game comes out, we kind of play it together, just kind of see what it is and all that stuff. But we still need to stay on target. We got to get Descent done because we're having a blast through it, and we got to keep playing it. What are you playing right now, Canje?
I'm playing Role Player Adventures. And I on Sundays it's usually just a game, just so it's not the same game every week. And then Thursdays is the group play. But my main play right now is Role Player Adventures. I'm on
When-
adventure. I just completed adventure 5.
Oh, you are ahead of us. We are on. My wife and I are on number 3, so we have to. And we were supposed to play last night, but it did not work out. 5 billion feet of snow last night, so we were dealing with that. And then we got done. We're just like, let's just watch Elf and go to bed. So we watched Elf with the kids that night. Good fun. Good fun. You play anything offline?
Offline, not usually. It's
Not
mostly
usually?
just kind of learning games for online. So I've been learning. This week it's been learning World of Warcraft: Wrath of the Lich King for
No,
tomorrow.
I've heard good things about that one.
So far, it's fun and hard, but fun.
Terrence does not have that problem that I have, apparently. He doesn't have
No.
down in Texas, there's probably no snow. Lucky you guys. But if you get snow, I bet it's the end of the world down there, which is the best part. But,
Yeah.
We
the
get
topic
dusting
today
and the whole
is for
city
our chat.
shuts down.
Steve?
Oh, we get dusting and snow and the whole city shuts down. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the part.
that's true.
I got put up the image of the cars on fire on the highway when it snowed here. So
Was that the
That's
one
all.
that somebody did like an AT-AT Walker?
yes, exactly.
That's pretty good.
Cool.
So
All right.
our main theme today is expansions that made you get into the game or reinvigorate you into a game is kind of what we're talking about. And I'm guessing each of us at least have one, if not more, that this has happened to. Because sometimes you get a base box, you kind of go, this is really cool. But then you get through it and you're kind of like, that was that. Oh, but this expansion really adds a lot more to it. And there's a lot of games out there that even changed a player versus player to player versus co-op, or made games co-op games in themselves, which is also a really cool thing. Expansions. I don't have any of those, but I bet Steve does.
Actually, this year ran to a few of those. The one I'm playing on the channel just this Wednesday and recently, Valeria Card Kingdom's Darksworn. So that is an expansion to Valeria Card Kingdoms, and it made it co-op. So I ignored the game because it wasn't co-op, and now it's co-op. I'm like, yeah, now let's get into this. So I've been enjoying it for that one. The other one that jumped out at me, and this is one that both Mike and I have loved recently, is Ludwig's Labyrinth. So that was a standalone expansion for Valor and Villainy. The original one was Mordok. Oh crap, I can't think of the name. Something Mordok's in it. And so it made Valor and Villainy into a cooperative experience and backwards compatible. And so now Mike and I have been loving that one this year as well.
Nice.
I'd probably say for me, the expansion for Nemesis made me really like it because it came with a campaign. So it made I like Nemesis, but that one really did it for me to make me really like that game. I'll say the next one is Folklore.
Mm-hmm.
For my other one, Dark Tales adding the side quests made the game achievable because like in if you play so first Folklore's fun, but base game Folklore is damn near impossible because as soon as you die you lose all your weapons. So now you're like this guy who's walking around, what do I do, how do I fight? So getting the side quest so you can at least power up to be able to play it really made the game a lot more enjoyable. And now the latest expansion that adds in the initiative tracker and city fighting really opens up the game to make it fun. So
Bairnt, you're getting called out.
Oh yeah.
What?
Marcel's like, Bairnt, Canje said folklore.
Yes, he did. He's speaking basically my language right now. He said the word. He's saying these great words that Nemesis, Folklore, these very powerful and wonderful words in gaming.
Yeah, I'm looking around at my collection to see what else I have. I think for me, I'm gonna throw this one out there, and is that Jaws of the Lion.
Oh yeah.
Because I got Gloomhaven, I was like, oh, this is cool. Oh, it's a bunch of side quests that I don't care because I want a damn story. And so the story was the town records, but you had to keep doing side quests to unlock the town records to read more about the story of Gloomhaven. But with Jaws of the Lion, it was here's this, and I really liked that they did the I forgot what game did it first. It was the one where you were like the stuffed animals of
Stuff
the kid,
Fables.
Stuffed Fables. But it came in a book that folded out, so it didn't take up a lot of table space, and you can place things on there. And that led to a really great story backed by foretellers narrative. Really brought it out, and so that made me like it. So now that Gloomhaven Digital's out, I'm all about that and playing it. What is another one? Oh, I know. Hostage Negotiator. Career. The career expansion for Hostage Negotiator really opened it up as well, because like Hostage Negotiator was good. It was okay, but it was very samey. There was some variance in the packs, but you have to get the packs, right? Which is once again expansion content. But the main game, I saw things in there that I mentioned that was make the game better, or some form of variant would make the game better. So when Career came, all the other packs that came out with it, that really opened up the game and it got me back into it. And then Final Girl's just amazing. So
Yes, you said some fantastic names there. Nemesis, the Untold Stories in that is, even though it's only a 4-mission campaign, it's a really good campaign. It can really bring people back. The Folklore to me is amazing. My wife and I can't get enough of that game, and even the third expansion I think really set that game alive with a new initiative track, really making combat impressive and important. The other, when it comes to card games, the only one I have that actually was like similar to what Steve was talking about is I have the barricades mode for the Dungeon Quest. What's the name of that one that has barricades mode? There's a barricades mode for it turned a competitive card game into a cooperative, kind of fun. I forget the name of it. I think it was like Dungeon Quest or something. It's back here.
I think Steve froze. We lost him.
Probably did. But I'm sure the chat can help me out,
the
because
stream
one
is
thing I'm
struggling
terribly
right now.
at. One thing I'm really terrible at is names, spelling, and I can't spell and I can't read things very well. So that's usually my downfall on YouTube when it comes to that. But some of the games that I really got into because of the expansion, I know you said Jaws of the Lions. That's a really great one. I didn't even think about that one. That actually brought my gaming group into Gloomhaven, because when I originally presented Gloomhaven, it was just so. Like a lot of people, I'm sure, had the same experience. It was so much that everybody's like, I don't get it. And then finally, and I think one of the things that really turned my group off is my wife was the scoundrel, and she was going to do attack for 32 damage or something, and she flipped the null card. She's like, "What's this card doing?" I'm like, "That means you totally missed." And we all laughed at her, and she's like, "This game is dumb." How can you totally miss an attack from behind? Well, I don't know. You did. But that's sometimes things like that happen. It really turned. I was talking to somebody about that, about how Colin and I were talking about first impressions of a game. Sometime that could be a topic we talk about. That could really turn you on or turn you off to a game, depending on your experience when you first have the game to begin with. But some of the games I have that really got me back into these games is, for example, when Shadows of Brimstone originally came out, it was the world and where it was set in wasn't something I was very interested in. When Forbidden Fortress came out, it was like all in. I'm like, that is an awesome theme. I'm totally into that. So I didn't really, but going back now, I'm looking at some of the enemy packs from the original or from the original Shadows of Brimstone, and I'm thinking about getting those because they would work really well in this world. But since it was the second one, it really didn't go into that first one. So that was an expansion, I guess you could say. But I know it's a standalone game in itself, but it was still kind of an expansion to it that really brought me to Shadows of Brimstone. Some of the other ones I had were what was the other ones I had? See, Steve remembers what I told him. I don't remember which ones I told him. Which ones did I say? Come on, Steve. What did I say?
The one I have is Forbidden Fortress. That's one I grabbed. I remember.
That's the only one. Thanks, Steve. You're a pal. Got that one. Good. Got one. I know I said 3. But Aeon's End was another one. That's a card game. I did not ever go in on Aeon's End until the Legacy game came out. And my group really enjoyed it and wanted to play more, which is that expansion brought me into the world of Aeon's End. That really helped me get into those games, and I've got it right here. Oops, as I bang around some things, it's right over there, and all the content is right on top of it. I'm pays for it yet. I probably should.
You need like a crate to hold all that stuff.
That's right. Give me an Aeon's End trove chest.
I also say for card games, Hero Realms, the Ruins of Thandar brought me to Hero Realms, because my first game, the first well, the first board game I ever played was Hero Quest, but the first game that I got into when I realized, oh, this is a thing, was Ascension. And I enjoyed Ascension. I thought it was great, but it was still just that, if you don't have anybody else to play, or you could do the Millhouse thing of throwing the frisbee, go from one side table to the other to the other. So I was like, unless it has a solo mode, I don't care. And then Ruins of Thandar came out, which had a solo mode. So I gave Hero Realms a test, and I liked it. So
Nice.
I think that expansion brought me to it.
Marcel has an interesting question here, and I think this might be a really good topic for like maybe next week even. He was asking what expansions ruined the core game for you guys. So I think we'll
Nothing ruins games. Nothing ruins games. Nothing ruins.
That's a really good one for next week. I think we might have to put together.
Well, then you might want to find another co-host, Steve, because no, that'd be a good. You're right. That'd be a good topic. I'm not sure because that would be a great topic because a lot of the times you can get overwhelmed by how much, and that can be by how much people put out for a game. That you could really overwhelm yourself. I did have another one that I was talking about, but Steve didn't put it on the picture that I remember talking about. But the expansions can add a ton to games that can make them come back alive, which is even like if you're playing a base game and you like Nemesis has some expansions. They didn't really. I would play the base game of Nemesis over and over. I really enjoy it. I think it's great. But having those extra enemies and stuff to be able to go against is really cool. And I think a lot of expansions do that. Was it the Machina Arcana brought some expansions, and I'm glad they did because there's usually only about 3 missions in the actual game, but with all the randomness of the boards and the monsters and everything, you can keep replaying it. Once you kind of know the missions, you can prepare for them. So having those extra missions were really cool to be able to give you more for the game and bring the game back alive. And they even adjusted some of the rules, which is pretty cool in the 3rd edition with the new expansion. What are some of yours, Steve? What do you got?
I was going to mention Runebound Unbreakable Bonds because that was the game that one got me into Runebound because it made it cooperative, and 2, it actually got me involved in One Stop in the first place. It was when I started working with One Stop Co-op Shop. That was when it was just Colin, and wanted to help out. So I wound up scrubbing through his videos before we post them live, kind of working with him behind the scenes on that stuff. So that was a little fun tidbit information there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one got me into the game and got me into One Stop. And then I think for a lot of people, Marvel United is also one that got people to get to the core game with all the expansions. Sound is out.
Sound is out.
Can you still hear me? Because that's really all that matters.
No, I see it going through, so it should be okay.
Woo!
Unless you're saying sound out as in he's leaving. So. Oh yeah, they still hear us.
Oh, he's doing the mic drop. Is that what Ryan's doing?
Yeah, I think he's doing.
Sound out. I gotta bounce.
Okay, now you can hear us. Okay.
You're good.
Yeah, those were big ones. I know, like I said, Marvel United did a lot for people, and you can see in like Dice Tower's review, which was interesting because the first review wasn't great, and then they came back to it and they gave it like all 8s and 9s across the board, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah,
I agree with you with that one for sure. That Marvel United is a good one. That's I had the base game like you, and then I borrowed a lot of it from. Actually, I have all of Colin's here right now. And my kid and I have been playing. We beat the Sinister Six once out of 6 times, and so he's a big fan of that one. That one's a lot of fun. My son and I have been playing it. We're looking forward to doing the Gauntlet one now, which looks really awesome. And I might even do a playthrough of that eventually on my channel because it's a lot of fun. I mean.
And one of the games you mentioned that I've never played was Shadows of Brimstone. Never played.
Okay, Marcel's about to attack you for not being cool anymore. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I think like when I saw it, it was at my favorite local game store, and there was a shelf of nothing but Shadow of Brimstone. I was like, that's a lot. That's a lot of games. So, and I think I looked at a playthrough of it, and I saw the amount of cards that came with it, and I was just like, oh, I don't think I could do this.
Very true.
So I hear it's a good game. I hear it's a
Mhm.
lot of fun. I never got a chance to try it though. And it's supposed to span like so many different. Is it like portal hopping to different worlds and different like
It's
you would be in
it's
cowboy, the Wild West, and then all of a sudden you're in feudal Japan, and then all of a sudden you're on a spaceship.
here's the deal with Shadows Brimstone. It can be what you want it to be. That's kind of the whole deal behind the game.
Okay.
You could. I'm right now. My playthrough is putting us just in feudal Japan. And then you can go into the belly of the beast, is what actually came in the box. But you can, yes, you can combine. Almost all of this is interchangeable. You can do whatever you want, but it's almost kind of like Kingdom Death. You can pick any monsters you want to fight against and things like that in the boss battle, but when it comes to the core game, the game is still you're moving around, fighting enemies, trying to complete an objective according to a mission.
Okay.
And the mission books are in there, and of course they open, so you could have people that actually create missions, and you could do the missions people create. It's a very open world. It's a very loose. It's whatever you want to make it, man. That's the way I look at it. And so I'm keeping it very structured and right in the like core of the game. But yeah, you could have the Wild West guys meet the feudal, like you could have a samurai meet a gunslinger, and they can hang out together and have a party and
Okay.
do whatever you
Okay.
want. So, but
There's
and
supposed to be a game that it's not exactly like that, but it's akin to it that's supposed to be coming out where you are cosplayers at a con, and you have to save the universe.
oh yeah,
And
There
I'm trying
is
to
USS
what's the
Freedom.
USS Freedom. That's it. That's it. And it gives me that same vibe of there is the tiles that you have to lay. There's a bunch of cards to play, and you're jumping from world to world. But the only difference is that you're cosplayers that were at a con, but you're dressed up like a cowboy or a space ranger or whatever it is. And it seems like it gives off that same vibe.
you heard it here first. Forbidden Fortress and Shadows of Brimstone is a very con type game.
Marcel's like, I like Canje again.
I saw that. Yes.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I know that a lot of people disagree with me with is I had no interest in Marvel Champions. While I love that they pulled every Marvel universe thing possible, character, hero, into the game, like they did Fantastic Four, X-Men, all that other stuff. I think it was just, I don't know. I tried it out and it didn't gel with me. I didn't get into it as much as I thought I would.
Talking about Champions?
He's talking
Marvel United.
United.
Oh, United. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes, I saw where he was going.
Okay.
He already covered Marvel Champions. He owns everything. So
Yes.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
wait, what? Thought you already had.
No, this is United. I just couldn't get into it. I mean, the minis look the chibi minis are cute and cool and whatnot to have, but I don't know. I just couldn't get into the game.
Fair.
That
Yeah,
happens.
no, Champions is my jam. I
Champions
have.
is okay, for sure.
Yeah, I love Marvel stuff. So Champions is great. I love United, and I'm one of the only ones I think on the channel who still likes Legendary, but Legendary is the one we enjoy quite a bit here. So as a
I think
deck
I've
builder.
got all of Colin's Legendary here at my house too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really
And I
fun
have to
one.
admit, I haven't played as much as I should. I should probably, you know what I should do, Steve? I should ask for your recommendations for villains to play against because again, we're looking at, if anybody knows how Colin buy games, I've got an overwhelming amount of Marvel United or what do you call it, Marvel Legendary over here. I don't even know what to do with because like, oh yeah, you got like everything. I'm like, okay, so what guys do I find? What heroes? Oh, you just put everything together. Okay, that did not help. That did not help at all. It's like what is fun? So I should talk to Steve sometimes. I should talk.
I think there's like 200 heroes for that game now or something. It's insane. Next year
It's
is
almost got to the point where I don't know who the people are that are coming out. I'm like, I actually don't know this one. I have to look this one up.
Yeah.
And I'm good at my Marvel knowledge, even
It's
X-Men
very
and all
true.
that stuff, all that universe.
Yeah, I know that next year that Marvel Zombicide is coming out.
yes.
And so I'm curious of that because if it's still Zombicide, I'm not interested, even though I love Marvel. If they've done something different, okay. Okay,
It
so then I might
is
be interested.
the base is still Zombicide, but they changed it because Zombicide doesn't work for the theme as is, so it's not just a copy paste. So
Mhm.
it's Zombicide with adjustments to how it functions. Like the heroes, it's much more power focused instead of loot focused. Because why would it wouldn't make sense for like, oh yeah, Spider-Man found a crowbar or a machine gun? Like that doesn't make any sense, right? so,
Right.
so yes,
Okay, so I mean, is there? Are you One Stop's gonna get a? Are y'all gonna get an advanced copy to preview?
no, not Simon. We never.
Oh, they don't do that,
No, they don't
huh?
do that. Well, it's not for us. Only for like very select people. So we're not. We're not.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with Marcel. Like that would have made me buy the game.
yeah.
Where he said, "I do wish Kaman had gone with Death May Die as a template for Marvel Zombies."
Agreed.
I Death May Die is it's a hard, fun game, but it would fit the theme more than um, just Zombicide with Marvel
It
characters.
is
Which
in there a little bit, a tiny
okay,
bit, because
okay,
Death May Die. You know, when you get insane, you get more powers, right?
right.
But you don't get too insane, right? So the same thing happens in Marvel Zombicide is you have this hunger you have to manage, and when you get more hungry, you get more powers, but you don't want to get too hungry, otherwise you lose control, right? And so that is analogous, but that's probably the only element that's analogous to Death May Die.
So from what I'm gathering, then you two kill people to accomplish your mission. Okay,
Yes, you got to kill the guys so that you can complete your objectives. So you eat the civilians so you can complete your objectives.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil to maintain your hunger as you try to do the objective, like you said. Yep,
I love
yep.
how he says a necessary evil. You know, sometimes, according to a zombie, that's not really evil. That's like kind of part of the world that they live in. It's just it's not necessarily evil. It's a necessity to survive. Maybe it's not
There you go.
like, oh, and the flip side, they're just trying to get along.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other games have, what other to the base one, what other expansions have got me to really get into a base game.
Dark War was one that Ryan mentioned. He's on our chat here. And I agree with him. It's for tiny epic defenders. So in that one, you're trying to protect the capital city from bad guys around the board. And Dark War made it into this campaign where you like progress for a while and you level up with different spells and stuff. It really improved the core experience of that game dramatically. So that's another good one.
Okay.
There's a
Yeah,
there's a lot of them.
I think my knowledge of it's still young, I haven't been in the board game space as much, but from what I named, I think that's all I really have played that I know that would have it.
I know another game that really helps with the expansions. That would be Myth. If anybody's ever played Myth, if you don't have the expansions, the base box of Myth is actually pretty rough. But once you got the whole Kickstarter, if you ever get both Kickstarters, that's awesome because then you get these modules that also have like full campaigns or adventures in them, which really helped flesh out the game. But if you were just playing with base game Myth, oofda, that's really rough. The monsters you get don't really connect together very well, which is kind of too bad. Not like you build them, but like the main bad guy and the monsters aren't even the same faction, so it's kind of that didn't make much. They have like an extra boss. Sorry, there's like a mini boss that didn't have anything to do with the crawlers that were in the base box, so it was really kind of a rough conglomerate of what was in there. And then as more expansions came out, you get a whole bunch more enemies that actually then do work with these other characters that are from the base box. You also get a lot more ability cards as the game came forward, and with the whole, and of course in the base game it didn't come with any adventures. You had to kind of make your own adventure. It's like, okay, make an adventure. So then they also brought this huge paper components. It's like this huge box. I got it right back here. That's just modules. It's like this big, just full of modules. It's an absolute monster of a box. It's really cool. And then it also has a difficulty for each of them. And as you go through it, you get to bring up your guys and do stuff. If you haven't played Myth, you totally should. It's an awesome game. one of my favorites. I'm the only one on One Stop Co-op Shop that likes it. And that's basically because of poor rule when it came out. Other than that, it's a fantastic game, really great system, and I'm sure the chat's going, "Oh wow, what do you know? Bairnt's talk about Myth again."
Yeah, that's what's flowing through. But I've never heard of it, but I'll check it out. Yeah, I know the pain of a game being ruined by a terrible rule book, i.e., Etherfields. That
that
game.
game's up here. Right
Yeah,
there.
that rule book was hot garbage. I'm so sorry if I offend anybody, but it was. So it was. I think the game is wonderful. Said for the like, if you do the continuous dream that's coming out in the latest set of stuff, the game's gonna be fun. People will love it. They'll enjoy it. It'll be fun. When you're actually in the dream, the game is amazing. The dream world and the rule book needs to go in the trash. But other than that, the rest of the game is amazingly fun. One of the games though that you mentioned, and it just jumped out of my head. It's gone. It is gone.
Does the dream world, is that the part where you're walking around that small little board that kind of has all the arrows going around it or something?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get that.
Yeah, if you trash that and just say after you finish a dream, you unlock and go to the next dream, the game's fun.
Might have to do that. That sounds like a plan. Because I haven't played much of it past what I have on my channel, because I kind of went, I don't really get it. I'm not really feeling it. But and it's okay. If it was the only game I had, I'd probably be playing it a ton. But I got a couple others. So
a few.
Yeah. I haven't played yet. I got to get to them. Super. And I get back to Assassin's Creed. I haven't gotten back to that yet. Steve's gone past me on that one. So
playing it Monday.
Yes, playing Monday.
How are y'all liking it so far?
Go ahead, Bairnt. You first.
From what I played, I like it. I've only gotten through mission 1.1. Good stuff. I like the theme a lot. I like the fact that it's one of those ones where sometimes I get worried when they try to throw a video game into a board game and want to make it seem just like the video game. But they do a good job because it is a very stealth game to begin with. So I think they've done a good job of creating the stealth component. Plus, of course, you get seen, they chase after you. That's pretty cool how they do that. And of course, they're not always going to be able to keep following you, which is pretty cool. So they've done a good job kind of incorporating a lot of different systems. I'll be interested to see what comes and what unlocks and things like that as you go through it. Because they have all these little envelopes you have to open, which is kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really liking it a lot. I love V commandos, or what's now called V sabotage. And so the base system of that is applied here in Assassin's Creed, but they have they did a good job twisting that base system to really fit the theme. I feel like it did a good job. It feels like Assassin's Creed. They did a good job making it work. So, but yeah, I'm really liking it a lot.
Okay, all right. My brain just came back to me, and I remember the game. Bairnt mentioned this early, probably before the stream, but I'm going to re-mention it. One game that the expansion made the game even more amazing was Role Player. Monsters and Minions. If you have Role Player and you play it and you're like, oh yeah, this game is fun, but I just built a character at the end, I don't know what to do with it. Monsters and Minions just adds to it and makes it an amazing game. It's fantastic with that expansion added, and I highly recommend anyone who's going to get Role Player be sure to pick up Monsters and Minions right along with it.
I like that idea. That is very true. We do actually have Role Player, and I played it with my group, and they are like, "Oh, it was kind of fun," but bringing around like the Monsters, Minions, and Fiends and Folio and all that kind of the extra stuff they add, really, they liked it a lot more that way. It's like, because sometimes, especially when I think my friend was doing the monk, he was like, "Okay, so I just don't buy any cards and I get to flip some dice around." Yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay. Well, now it's like I don't buy cards. Well, now do I flip the dice or do I go fight the monsters? What do I do?
Yeah.
So, it does add a lot of change and a lot of exciting things to it.
Yeah, and Role Player Adventures, as Marcel's saying, Role Player Adventures is the next step to me. It's you have to build a character. Okay, you just fight some minions and monsters, and you fight this, and then you fight this big bad at the end. But Adventures it gives you a story to go along with the rest of it. So to me, it was just the next step in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else though, because all the other games I have are kind of like this War of Mine, where the base game's amazing, the expansions are even more amazing. So it didn't bring me
That's what
back
you're going
for.
to see. A lot of games are like that. I mean, obviously their base game was their baby. That was their envisionment. It's not like, okay, we're going to make this game so we can add this expansion to it. I mean, that's a lot of times not the deal. Expansion, sometimes if your game was not good to begin with and you're trying to pitch an expansion, it's going to be tough to do in a world.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the times it's because the expansions are made to change the base box that might have been doing very well,
Right.
or to add something onto it. I don't really know too many other ones I
The
have here that.
the only other one I'll mention real quick, because we mentioned earlier in the stream, was Marvel Legendary. I think the base game of that one is, especially now, not good. It's definitely dated. It's too easy. Its balance is kind of off. But with all the expansions they added, it's really really good with the expansions.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious to know that I have the base game. I wanted to try it with the solo rules that I saw in BGG, but I wasn't sure if the game held up. So, what would you recommend being the expansion that needs to get purchased to make it good?
any of the big box expansions, honestly. So
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot of them out there, but
Which also scares me.
yeah, there's a ton of them. But yeah, I would say any big box expansion because they always add. They tend to tweak the game and make it more challenging. Because
Okay.
as is, if you defeat the boss, you get something good. It's like, well, I beat the boss. Should he hit me back, or just something bad happen, right? So that's the better option. So
Yeah. I can't speak to Machine Arcana, or that. I will let Bairnt and Steve talk about
I've never
that.
played Machine Arcana. I don't know anything about it. No way to play it all the time. It's a great game. Yeah, that game. From what looking at the chat here, yes, they're saying like, what about Machina Arcana? Machina Arcana's base game is great. I mean, there's not much you really needed to improve or even get. The base game, of course, went from 1 to 2 to 3, but the base game really kind of stayed the same. The expansions do add extra stories and really kind of spice it up a little bit with some added monsters and things. But I mean, when we're talking about things that recreate or help us get to a game, I really think Machina Arcana is in the right state where it was when it was originally made. Again, we had an issue with a lot of rulebook issues, but if you can see, I have a tendency to try to really see past that because I like to see what the creator was thinking, and I don't mind reaching out to a creator kind of going, what is going on with this? And they're more than, I've never met a creator that's like, what do you mean you don't get it? I mean, every creator I've ever talked to has always been like super positive, super encouraging to try to make sure that their game shines because they want you to play what they envision. So whenever I'm not exactly sure about something, I do reach out and I get some pretty good answers. And so where Machina Arcana is, it's in a great state, just base game alone. But adding those expansions does get some cool things going on inside it.
What is a game? What is a game that it's like? Is it like Bloodborne?
Yes-ish. I would say very similar. It's yeah, but it's a dungeon crawler that actually kind of reminds me a little bit sometimes of. It has this Dungeon Alliance feel to it sometimes, where it's a very puzzly type thing because the dice rolls really are so minuscule in what they do to you that a lot of times it's kind of figuring out how to play each round. Like, where do I go to the next round? How do I get to the next round without getting killed? And then, of course, you make critical errors. And since this game is brutal, it can really punish you. Like, if you watch my latest playthrough, I was like, I'm going to move this person over here so that I can try to trigger the trap and we can really get this guy. Well, then I realized that I actually put him closer to the monster, so he actually went after me. I was like, well, that totally went up the nuts. Like, now this guy's attacking the person I don't want him to. And so, but it's, and it's a very story-driven game, but it's really in each story is its own game.
Okay.
It's a very, and it's modular too. So it's got a little. It's a game in its own. It's really, a lot of people ask me this, and I really can't describe what type of game it's like. It's a modular dungeon crawler that is set in kind of a horror-y theme that is just, it's a really really fun experience. It's one that it has some things that, like, when you take damage, you only take 1 health. It's not like, oh, I got hit for 32 damage, my guy just instantly dies. No, you get hit for 1. And then no matter how powerful the monster is, no matter how powerful you are, you're only hitting things for 1. So it's, again, that's part of the things you have to manage, is a lot of managing that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different things going on in this game that make it really cool, that they really encourage everybody to go get and try. Lots of fun.
Well, I think we're kind of running towards the end of our time here. I think we covered a lot of games that definitely hit our marks for expansions that made the core game great for us. So, but yeah, I want to thanks Bairnt for joining. Thanks Kenji for being on with us. This was
Thank you. Yeah, no.
Thank you for having me, Steve.
Thanks
as
for having
always,
me.
it's always a blast. Great to have you on as well. I mean, 3 people, man. This is great.
I know,
awesome.
right?
So, yeah, Ken, do you want to plug what you got going on this coming up this week?
Sure. So tomorrow I'll be playing World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King live at 9 a.m. Eastern. And then next week, Tuesday, Role Player Adventures, I'm playing the side mission. And Thursday, Kingdom Death Monster with Bairnt, Steven and Pac-Man. And I don't know what I'm going to be playing that following Sunday, so I'll have to figure out what it is and see.
Cool. What you got, Baird, on
Nice.
your channel? You've been you did you
Oh,
did your
we're
unboxing for Batman.
Yep, Batman the Animated Series is coming to One Stop Co-op in my channel. It'll be coming to both as usual. Some good games coming to both. Then other than that, it's really I'm on a Madara kick, man. Can't stop. Can't stop. I got to keep playing it. I just got through the side quest, so now we're going to plug into the main story quest and go all the way through chapter 2. That's my goal. We'll see if that comes to fruition. I did get the Ghost Betwixt delivered to me finally, so I'm really excited to get into that one. I might go into mission 2. That game is super good. I really need to get back into that one. So I'll be doing, I might even pause after this side quest to do chapter 2 of the Ghost Betwixt and see what befalls our wonderful family. If people don't know that game, please go check it out. You're a family. It's a family dungeon crawler. You're a family going through a nice little horror house, I guess you'd say, but it's like kind of the carnival of fun horror type thing. It's like not scary stuff like that. It's more like the out of control, like funny, obnoxious type stuff, which is really neat. It's set in our world, which is one thing I really liked about the game was it's set in our world. It's not like a fantasy or a space or anything like this. It's their son got taken and they got to go find him, and so they're going to go into this house and they're going to take on this family that is in charge of a Halloween like fun house type thing, and so they got to try to save him. So that's the gist of the game. I'm pretty excited to go to mission 2 on that. Other things I got going on, Steve, that's a lot of talking I just did, so I think I'm
good. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you at the next stop. Bye.
What about you, Steve? You didn't actually tell us what you're doing.
I did. Oh, I mentioned earlier. Okay, so fine. We're doing Assassin's Creed in Valeria again. So. Keeping that campaign
now
going.
You can say we'll see you at the next stop.
Yeah, now we'll see you at the next stop. Bye.
Bye, everybody.